Hello everyone and welcome to the YouTube channel of BeingACCA. This is Tushita Gupta, ACCA affiliate, and in this video we are going to be starting off with the section C of your PM pre-December 2024 mock exam. This is the very first question, which is the name of the question is Auto Clinic Company, AC Company. Let's get started. I'm reading the scenario first and then I'm going to refer to the requirements. But before that, the first requirement over here looks like a small one, so we can have a read over here. With reference to AC company, we've got to explain the characteristics of a service business: intangibility, simultaneity, perishability, heterogeneity. So they've given you the names of the different characteristics that we have which are associated to services. Now you have to explain these characteristics with reference to this company, which means not only you need to explain what these characteristics mean, but you also have to give the example, you need to link it to the scenario. That is the only scenario wherein you will be getting marks. Otherwise, if you're not linking it, you will be getting very limited marks. So let's get started. Let's read the question. Auto Clinic AC Company is one of the authorized automobile service centers for one of the leading electric vehicle manufacturers in Estland. The role of these authorized automobile service centers is to provide compatible battery repair and maintenance services at locations where there is no service center operated by the manufacturer. There are two main types of services provided by all of these service centers. First is the warranty service. These are the services provided where all authorized automobile service centers will charge the manufacturer with the same service fee per service. And if you talk about out of warranty, OWS, these are the services provided where all authorized automobile service centers will charge the EV owner based on a service fee per service that is set by the respective service center. It is a common practice that most service centers will provide complementary services such as car wash, interior sanitizing, etc., in order to attract and retain customers. AC Company has been well known for its excellent workmanship in repair and maintenance services, despite many comments relating to long waiting times and limited complementary services as compared to other service providers. The data extracted from the management accounts for the recent periods ended 31st December are as follows. So we have two actual figures, 20x3 and 20x4, and we are also given with the targets that they had set for 20x4. Now, this is all the financial data and some non-financial data which is given to us. Now, let us get towards the very first requirement where we are explaining each of the four characteristics. So, let's start off with intangibility first. Intangibility, if you look at the literal meaning, intangible is something which does not have any physical presence. So, services also, as opposed to a good, you can see the good, you can buy the good, you can hold it in your hand, you can take it away once you've paid for it. But services, they are not visible, they do not have any physical presence. So this is what you will write over here. I'm just giving you bullet points, but you need to always frame your answers in a in a proper format wherein you are writing full sentences. So intangibility means that services have no physical presence. This is the meaning of this characteristic. This means that you will be, if you are providing the service, you will find it difficult to identify what are the aspects, what are the different things which affect the the customer service. So or whatever the customer values, it will be difficult for you to find out that this feature is something which the customer really wants, this is something which they don't want. Then customers may also at the same time find it difficult to communicate what they value and what they don't value. Now, if you have to put it over here in the perspective of AC company, you will say that, apart from ensuring that so basically, mainly what they are doing is they are providing services with respect to the battery, right? To provide compatible battery repair and maintenance services. This is their main function. But apart from this, customers, will also value something like what we saw over here, craftsmanship, workmanship in repair and maintenance services. So this is something which the customers will also value. and also what the technical competencies of the person who is carrying out their tasks is. So this is something which does not have any physical presence. How, a worker is working, what is his qualification, there is no physical presence to it, but customer really values that. So you will link it to the scenario by saying that AC company should also consider that customers value not only the repair and maintenance services, but also value other things like workmanship and technical competencies of the technician providing them with the services. All right, so this is how you're going to frame the first one. Moving towards the second characteristic, which is of simultaneity. So simultaneity comes from the word simultaneous, which means it's happening side by side. So that means as and when you are producing the service, at the same time, someone on the other end is also consuming the service. So it is a simultaneous process. The service is getting produced as well as at the same time it is getting consumed. So simultaneity means they are consumed as they are produced. This is how you'll frame it in a proper sentence. And then to link it to the scenario, you're going to say that, for example, over here, the repair and maintenance service is being delivered. And also, at the same time, the customer is consuming the service as well. So you will see over here that the repair and maintenance services are being delivered when each technician is performing the necessary work and customer is consuming it at the same time. So this is how you explain the second characteristic. Moving to the third one. Third one is given to us as perishability. So perishability means something which can not be stored, which is going to, perish. Usually, what do you mean by perish? Is that something has gone bad. Bread gets stale as time passes by, so bread perishes. So perishability means that services cannot be stored. And now, how do you explain it that, the repair and maintenance service can only be carried out once the customer brings in the electronic vehicle to you? If, the customers are yet to bring it, there it is not possible that you can store the service of a technician who will repair, the car, give the service when the car arrives. The technician will have to be there when the car actually arrives. Otherwise, the service performance will not be possible. So it is not possible for you to store the services. So you can write over here, it is not possible that the repair and maintenance work can be carried out before the customer sends the electronic vehicle in for such or any service. For any service. And talking about the last characteristic now, which is heterogeneity. If you talk about heterogeneity, it is the antonym, it is the opposite of the word homogeneous. Homogeneous means something which is the same. So heterogeneous would be something which is different. So services are different. That means every service is unique because there are people involved over here. You cannot standardize people. The way I write an answer will be different from the way you will write the answer, and that will also be different from the way some other student will write the answer. So similarly, because in the terms of services, there is a human involvement, each service is bound to be different. Each service will be unique because different people do things differently. So here you're going to put that each service provided is unique because people are involved. People are involved and quality cannot be standardized. Quality cannot be standardized. Now, how do you apply it to the scenario? So, even though there is a common practice of all repair and maintenance services being provided, the way every technician is working, the style of work that they have, that will differ. And if you talk about the quality, everyone has a different perception for quality. Maybe what I find of a good quality would be of poor quality to you. So, quality, because it is something which cannot be measured in numbers, it is something which is subjective. So, different people can have different perspectives about quality. So, this is what heterogeneity leads to. You can write over here that despite common practices, despite common practices, the style of work, the style of work demonstrated by each technician may not have the same level of satisfaction for every customer as the perception of quality of service differs from customer to customer. Right? So this is how you're going to frame part A of your answer. I will now take you to the second part where we have to use Fitzgerald and Moon's building block model, and we have to calculate the following KPIs as shown below for 20x3 and 20x4 and analyze the performance from the 2 years with these assigned KPIs as well as the any relevant data that has been provided. So they've given you a very nice template over here. It's a very well structured. Usually, the students find it difficult to give their answer a proper structure. So, ACCA has made it very easy for you. The examiner has made it very easy for you over here because they've given you a very nice structure to start with, right? Once you know that this is what you need to frame your answer into, it becomes a lot easier. Now, let's see what all do we have here. We need to calculate the return on capital employed for all of these 3 time periods. Then we need to calculate the average OWS fee per service. Then we need to calculate the percentage of returning services due to last faulty service. And then with respect to resource utilization, the KPI that has been selected is the number of services performed per technician. When it comes to flexibility, it's the percentage change in average operating hours per week, and new number of complementary services offered is what you have under innovation. So we'll start from the beginning. We'll talk about KPI first. Let's run the numbers. So as far as the return on your capital employed is concerned, the thing that you're going to start off with over here has to be your operating profit, which needs to be divided by your capital employed. So operating profit you will find over here for all of these 3 years. I'll show you the calculations for just the first year. You can do the remaining ones on your own. So this is my numerator, and this needs to be divided by the capital employed. So let's see how will we work out the capital employed. We are given with the non-current assets, and we have the excess of current assets over current liabilities, which is nothing but your working capital. So we can say that the sum of both of these will give me my capital employed. So my denominator is going to be 2400,000 plus 456,000. So this is what my denominator is going to be. Once you solve it, you will get the answer, and mind it, your answer for return on capital employed will always be in percentage. So whatever you get, you can put the values over here. I'm not showing you all the calculations. I'll just show you for 1 year and plot in the numbers so that we can quickly move towards the analysis part. For the next year, you'll be getting it at 12%, and for 2013, you'll be getting at 10%. So this is what the numbers look like once you do the calculations. Now have a look at the performance analysis. So you can see there has been a consistent, earlier 20x3, it was 10%. Now it has risen to 12%. That's an increase of 2%. So we had although targeted it to be a 15% return on capital employed. So even though you have a marginal increase, or you can say improvement from the previous year, but we are still below the target. So this is what your first part of the analysis should talk about, that even though there is an increase from, you can say it's a marginal increase, barely 2%. So marginal increase from past year, but still below the target. This is what you start off with. Now, if you talk about why this improvement is there, we have a relationship that we often see between the three ratios which we have. ROCE always and always depends upon your asset turnover and your operating profits. So if you see over here, the improvement could be because even though you see your operating profit has been declining, earlier it was 233, and if you compare it with your revenue, you will see that the operating profit margin is declining. However, your asset turnover is increasing. So you can say that this is the likely reason such improvement is likely to be explained by an improving asset turnover despite a declining operating profit margin. Right? This is what we write over here. And if you see the target ROCE that we have, the target ROCE, you can say, was pretty much, overly ambitious. So you can talk about this, that the target ROCE was probably overly ambitious. So this is how you can frame the performance analysis for the financial aspect. Moving towards the KPI of competitiveness. In competitiveness, we are supposed to find out the average OWS fee per service. So we see our revenue is 928,000, 98,200 in 20x4. That was our target. So this is going to be my numerator, 928 200. My apologies. And this then needs to be divided by the average number of services. So the number of services that we have, 2,800 is the total, and we have WS as well as OWS over here. So we want to find out just for OWS. So 2,800 can be split into two parts because they are equal. So 2,800 divided by 2, which is 1,400, will be my denominator. So here my answer will be 663. Similarly, I'm going to put it for the other ones also, 539, and this will be 540. So we have the numbers in 20x3, the average OWS fee per service was 540. In actual, it has in the next year, actual has become even lesser, $1 lesser than the previous year, but we had targeted for a much higher figure. So firstly, you will talk about there's a marginal decrease, but you can say that it has largely remained constant, right? Then what do you observe next? So if you're charging a constant fee throughout the years, which you are not changing, maybe the main reason for you to increase in the revenue and the total number of services, that may not be the reason. So we are looking for the real reason why, even though you are charging the same amount of money, still your revenue, if you compare from the previous year, 526500, your revenue has increased to 682374. So the increase in the performance could be a meaning, could signify that you are competitive, you are giving the competitors a tough time. The excellent workmanship that you have, that is the reason that more and more people come to you. They do not come to you because you're giving them lower prices. They come to you because they like your quality. So you can talk about over here that the increase in performance could be a positive sign, positive sign of market competitiveness and the excellent workmanship. Right, so this is how you can explain this point. Another thing, you can see that we are charging lower than what we had targeted, so we can leave one comment about that also. So this may be because we have a very highly competitive market. So because of having so much of competition around us, we probably decided not to increase the prices. So lower fees being charged as compared to the target may indicate a stiff competition in the market, because of which prices have not been hiked. All right, now moving towards the next aspect, which is about the quality of service. So here the KPI that we are taking is the percentage of returning services due to last faulty service. So this is going to be our numerator, number of returning service due to last faulty service. So here my targeted figure over here was 224. 224 is the target that I had set for myself, that this should be the number of customers who return due to a faulty service that we provided last time. And the total services that we had planned to give was 2800. So this has to be in a percentage. So you multiply this with percentage, you'll get 8% here. Similarly, putting the numbers here, 11% and 8.2%. So this is what your numbers look like. Now, if you see, you are talking about quality of service here, but there has been an increase in the KPI. And if you see, your actual figure is even higher than your target. So this shows that the quality of your service has deteriorated. It's not the best quality, despite the fact that you had put in efforts for extending the weekly hours to better cater to customers' needs. So whatever you were doing, that has not pretty much worked out. You tried to improve the quality by extending the more of operational hours, but that has not solved the problem. So you will frame it something like this over here. Increase in KPI that has been recorded and it is higher than the target, then you explain what this means. This means that quality of service has worsened, or you can say it has deteriorated. Quality of your service has deteriorated despite extending weekly operating hours to cater to customers better. To customers' needs better. This is the first thing that you say. And if you see that why is the trend of performance looking like this? Why is the quality going down? This could be because maybe the technicians, uh, are being overburdened. So because you see, in 20X3, you have 5 people working for you. In 20X4, you have 6 people, but the number of services that you are providing has increased tremendously. So earlier you were serving 1950 as the total number of services. Now it is 2532. So there is probably a lot of overburden, increasing workload over the technicians. This would be further clear once we calculate the resource utilization. So let's first work the resource utilization out, then we'll write the last comment. If you talk about resource utilization, you need to calculate the number of services performed per technician. So you have in total 2,800 services that you were targeting. And for those, you had targeted to keep 7 full-time technicians. That means 400 services per technician. And here it is going to be 422, and here it is going to be 390. So in 20X3, one technician was providing 390 services, but now in 20X4, in actuality, 422 services have been performed by one technician. So you can see over here that the trend that you see of the declining quality of work, trend of declining quality of work could be due to increasing workload on one technician, as can be seen in resource utilization also. Now coming to resource utilization, here we will talk about how we are utilizing, how much are we utilizing our resources. So we will say that the increase is impressive because we have even exceeded the target. We had targeted that one technician will perform 400 services, but this is an increase. We have exceeded the target. So impressive as target has been exceeded. But at the same time, you will also say that this increase in resource utilization can also mean that, now we talk about however, this means that there is a shortage. There is a shortage of manpower. And because of this, the increase in workload is because of, the increase in workload that the technicians are getting. There is also a longer queuing time. Increase in workload implies for longer queuing time. Longer queuing time. And then you'll also talk about how this will impact other things. For example, it hampers the quality. So you'll say other implications are that it hampers quality of customer service. Quality of customer service. Right? So this is how you give your analysis for resource utilization. Now coming towards the second last one, which pertains to flexibility. Let's run the numbers. Flexibility is the percentage of change in average operating hours per week. So let's see how much have we operated. Change in operating hours per week. Originally, we were working 35, now we are working 10 more. So the formula for any change is change divided by the original value. So change is 45 minus 35, which is 10, and my original value is 35. So my answer, I will again multiply this with 100 to get a percentage. This will be 28.6%. So this is what the figure looks like. Now, in terms of flexibility, the weekly operating hours have increased. Alongside, there is also an increase in the number of technicians. So you will write about operating hours increased, number of technicians increased. Now, another thing is, when you see these sort of changes, there is improvement in flexibility because now they will be, catering to different customers who may have different, preferences for timings, at which they send their car. However, this type of a flexibility will only lead to improvement in other aspects like quality only when the technicians will work on a shift basis rather than being constantly working all the time. So if they work all the time, the productivity is going to go down. So this flexibility will only be useful if they are made to work in shifts. So you can say that these changes will help with customer service as we can cater to customers with different timing preferences at which they want to send their car, but this will only be useful to improve customer service if workers, or you can say technicians, work in shifts rather than stretching over time. Right? So this is how you will write the analysis for flexibility. Now coming towards the very last one, which is innovation. Now innovation, the KPI is number of new complementary services. So let's have a look at the complementary services. So types of complementary services offered. Earlier also we were just doing car wash. Now also we are just doing car wash. We had set a target to start off with the service of sanitizing as well as interior cleansing, but we have not been able to do that. So earlier also we were giving only one service of car wash. Now also we are giving only one service. So the number of new services is actually 0. Now, coming to the performance analysis, the only service that we are providing complimentary over the years is car wash, which is less than your target. So we will say that it is less than the target. Another thing that you will say that, this is going to be leading for the business to lose their competitive advantage because the other competitors have been providing apologies, have been providing all these services. So even though such initiatives will not affect the quality of the work that you're already, providing, that the technicians are doing, but if these extra services are not provided, some customers may choose other competitors, which will have a bad effect over the competitiveness of AC company. So, this may seen, when they are charging the same fees as similar fees to the other competitors, and they are not providing the same services, they're providing lesser services. So obviously people are going to go towards the competitors who are taking the same price but are giving more services in the same price. So this is what you will write over here in this performance analysis. With this, we are through with the first question, which was AC company. In the next video, we are going to be solving the last question pertaining to this mock exam. I hope that you guys found this video useful. Thank you so much for watching.